Please make me a better person. Okay, looks like I'm praying. Just want to point out, I'm not religious. I'm not an atheist. I class myself as an agnostic. I will explain why, hopefully, over time, if it's not clear already. Prayer. But if I'd have done it like this, would I have been praying? Or would you ever perceive me as praying? Prayer. Interesting concept. Can't help wondering if, according to Genesis 1:2, the second page, which everybody reads, for some reason people skip the first page, and if they read the first page, then what I'm about to say wouldn't have any relevance because Adam wouldn't have needed to pray. But Genesis 1:2, I wonder if that was the first prayer. God, make me a better person. I'm fed up with sowing my seed. Biblical reference. Sorry if anyone takes offense, but the words are there. I'm just interpreting them as they should be interpreted. Religion. Prayer. Prayer. What is it? What are you doing in prayer? Okay? You're trying to tune yourself into the same frequency as your concept of God. Okay? Concept could be an interesting word to think about. Okay? God is a word. Okay? Some people actually write this word, okay, and say this is the true God. Some people refer to it as Jesus. Some people say that you cannot speak the name, it is the unspeakable name. And I'll tell you why that exists. Is because the unspeakable name explains the entire concept and destroys the religion that was built around it. I have mentioned once before the rough interpretation of the words of Abraham. Think about them, okay? Did Abraham say the name of God, and then everybody after heard it and said you couldn't say it? Or did Abraham never say the name of God, and therefore nobody knew it, but were told they couldn't say it? There are so many contradictions and strange stuff in religion. It doesn't add up. If you want to think of it with the same mind. And you will say, that's logic rational, and the logic rational world doesn't belong to religion. It seems quite obvious on many occasions. So what you're talking about is something more spiritual. Okay? The spirit. Okay? You have the conscious and the subconscious, and that part of you, that essence that nobody knows what it is. That thing, that little light that's on and then switches off, and the body's dead, but where did the spirit go? Did it ever exist? So prayer, doing this and saying the words is ridiculous. Doing this and thinking those words is also ridiculous, because then you're in the rational part of the world. Okay? So when a preacher says, okay, prayer number da da da, and everybody reads it, or everybody thinks it, or he reads it and everybody listens, this is, if it is a message to a God, a very inefficient way of communicating, because then it has to go through other forms, and of course in transformation that will get confused, especially if the words are interpreted in other ways. Words. I have a cat, and I don't think she really bothers. Right? I try speaking to her, you know. She has this thing with food. She doesn't always eat her food, and I've given her the speech about the cats in Africa, and she just looks at me like that. No, what the fuck you are, man? Strange. Lack of communication. I don't know if she understands any of the words, to be honest with you. Very much like some adolescents with similar discussions. But if she is capable, she's ignoring me. But I doubt very much if she's even bothered. Okay, learning language. Okay, on the verbal or the concept level. Okay, for her, okay, that's a big comfy thing that I lie on all the time, and she's got a picture of that, a photo. Boop, 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 boop. She can basically refer directly to the image. She doesn't need to change that image into an abstract form represented by letters, which creates a word, okay, which then becomes extremely generic because that word means different things to different people. Okay? So, going back to the prayer thing. Okay, thinking or verbalizing. Okay, words would be silly. Okay, I have a strange view on prayer. I remember there's an old Greek or Roman guy who once said that praying to a god was very much like begging from a statue. If you practice that type of prayer, it fits. But a lot of people pray, and a lot of people do meditation and other things. So a lot of people are either very wrong in something, or there's something there. Okay? There's a baseline connected to truth and reality in everything. The practice may be misused or confused, okay, but there's probably something there. So what is it? Okay. Now I, at the beginning, said, make me a better man. Okay. As a prayer, for instance. But I've done it something like this, or it's various other forms. Yeah, whatever. Most of it's got to be lower down, I can't be bothered with the camera. And I like things this distance. But you get the idea. Shop around. So, let's say prayer and meditation are very much the same thing. Okay. Now, I tend to talk a little bit, my references are to Christianity. I'm basically, let's say, Christian. Okay, I was taken and baptized. Okay, nobody asked me or explained what was going on. I was just basically taken and this strange man dressed in a very strange dress. Okay, with some, I mean, I can't even remember the entire scene. Okay, so, but makes me Christian to some extent. And of course, I have studied the Christian Bible. Okay, the King James. Read it. People put a lot of value in that book, and I've had people tell me, oh, but I studied Greek, and the King James is correct. It's a... Yeah, sure. How can you say it's correct? Many words, even if you read them in the original form, okay, will not mean the same to you as it meant to the person writing it. As I said, each word has its own individual definition depending on the concept and the understanding of that word by each person. Take something simple like democracy. Okay, we'll leave that long story. But the words in anything, okay, are human. Remember, humans use words. So how can you put faith in words? Okay. That's starting to sound religious. Believe me, I'm not. I just thought a lot about this subject. So praying, okay, meditation. If you want to think about it rationally, the only way to do it really is to feel your communication. Okay, words are meaningless. The feelings you transmit in that communication, therefore, will be more precise and honed better to whatever source or whatever you're trying to communicate with. Which will bring us to another point. Okay, what are you trying to communicate with? Am I sending this to God? The thing I don't get about the God situation is, logically, if God is anything other than, okay, and this is an argument some people have had, well, God isn't that. God is, so what is he then? If God is anything other than the omnipresent, okay, that's all through time, okay, the infinite time, okay, infinity. If God isn't omnipotent, all-powerful, the all